What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Brandon Coin YouTube channel. And I just went and bought out the rest of a farm that had gone under a while ago, but they were just now finally getting rid of some of their older stuff. So what you see right here is all L3++s. There is a couple L3 pluses in the mix, and all the power supplies. There's also a couple Antminer S17 pluses in there, the power cords, and extra hash boards, extra control boards, lots and lots of stuff. But as this stuff's getting older, it's getting cheaper, and especially in the winter time, these are not bad units because the L3 pluses you can turn down, and these fans can actually get decently quiet. So you could run one of these inside your house, you know, depending on if you have one of the 120 volt or the, you know, not one of the 240 volt power supplies. So I know I saw a bunch of the 120 volt, like the dual capable power supplies. So we'll get all this stuff out. I'm going to go through it all, and then we're going to start testing it. And I'm definitely I want to do some tweaking on them, especially now that apparently there's been some new updates to the firmware within the last year. I haven't messed with L3 pluses in like probably 2 or 3 years, but you know, anything for the right price is a good miner. So as you're seeing right here, I believe there's right at 50 L3 pluses, and there's 6 S17 pluses. Those are inside the truck. Those are a little bit more fragile. But yeah, let me get to work. All right, so here's the haul from today. We have a broken S17 in here. One of the hash boards is dead, but he gave me replacement hash boards. 3 working S17s, unicorns right here, because if you've had an S17 Antminer in the past, these are S17 pluses, you know how fragile those hash boards are because they use individual tiny heat sinks on every chip in there. And if one heat sink pops off, that one chip overheats and dies and can take the whole board out. Not technically, you can replace individual chips, but they're just not worth it because they're so old now. I don't know if these were I don't remember how many terahash models those are, but they're still significantly better than an S9, but they don't hold a candle to an S19. They're that in between. Now, all these are L3 pluses, and you can see some of those are missing some power supplies back there, but all these are mostly the APW3 power supplies. So that means they can run on 120 or 240 volt. So lots of flexibility. And he said he really never had any issues out of the L3s, except maybe 1 or 2 would have like some random restarting after a day or 2. Obviously, I'm taking his word for it because there's no way I could have tested all these in a reasonable amount of time. He also did include all the power cables. So we got really good, super thick power cables. And actually, okay, so there was 4 S17s. So there's a broken one, and here's a broken one. I thought I forgot one. It was shoved in this box. So there's 5 S17s, sorry. 3 good ones, and then 2 broken ones. All right, that makes sense. And then, oh yeah, there's another L3. This is a parts one. He said it fell off the table and like jammed that, and then they used the control board for one of the other ones that ended up going out. But yeah, so I guess now it's time to start testing them all. Oof. All right, wish me luck. All right, guys, so plugged in the first unit, got Ethernet, we got lights blinking, so that's good. We're gonna be testing this on 240 volt and then also on 120 volt, but yeah, let's go inside and see if we can find it on our network. Bam. All right, so I found the IP address and I went ahead and logged in. The default password was root for the username and password. And it looks to be everything's working correctly. There's no pool entered, so it's not mining yet. So I'm gonna grab a pool address, and I do have this hooked up to a circuit that's also running another miner. So let's go over to miner configuration, advanced. Let's turn this frequency down. I just want to see if it'll boot up and run. We'll put it at like 200. Save and apply, and then I'll go grab the pool. All right, so I went ahead and threw it on Mining Dutch. We have the frequency turned down, but the big thing here is we want to see that all the boards come online and that the ASIC status is good. So see, all these are circles. I believe they show up as X's if any of them are dead, and potentially a lot of times if you have any like single chip that's dead, it'll normally, or it can take out the whole board with it, so the whole board won't show up and it'll just be blank. But yeah, so all 4 boards are showing up on this one. Temperatures cool across the board. I'll let this one run for a little bit. We only have it at that 200 on the frequency, so getting 270 mega hashes average right now, 104 real time. It's going to fluctuate a little bit as it gets some accepted shares. Now this is the stock Antminer firmware. It'll be flashing some of these that I'm going to be keeping, but for right now I just want to make sure that they're working. That's the big thing. So I'm gonna be flashing some of these, and I'm probably gonna be using the Hive firmware. It's been used and beaten. This dead horse has been beaten many times over, but it gives you a little bit more flexibility. Also gives you like an estimated hash rate. It's a little bit more efficient than the stock firmware. So you know what? No time like the present. Let's go ahead and upgrade this thing. I gotta figure out how to get back in my Hive. It's been a minute. All right, and there we are. I got the Hive on firmware installed, which gives me more settings underneath the mining configuration. I was able to still keep my frequency at 200, but I pulled the voltage back to 9.32, and instead of the factory, it was running like 9.9 volts, which was doing about 405 watts for 250 mega hash, not good. But now it's doing 344 watts for 260 mega hash. So gained a little bit of hash and saved a little bit of wattage. Obviously, this is not ideal. The better range for these is somewhere around, I think it's like 600 watts. You can go back in the miner config and go into the auto tuner. And yeah, 504 mega hash for 660 watts is like, that's nice. That's nice right there. Obviously, you can crank it up to the moon, 720 mega hash for 1300 watts, but you know, over double the wattage for 220 mega hash, not worth it. Probably going to be running these units right in that 504, half a gigahash for 660 watts. But I just can't do that right this second because I'm worried about it tripping a breaker. But yeah, I'm convinced this one's good to go. I'm gonna move some stuff around, that way I can get it on its own breaker by itself, so I can do some more testing. But yeah, it's time to get to work, ladies and gentlemen. I got some devices to test. Also, I was curious to see how quiet this one was. I have the fan setting minimum at 30%, and then it's scaling up from there. But since I'm pushing such low voltage and such low wattage through it, I was curious to see how loud it is. Let's go look at that. Nice. We're out here in the garage. Obviously, it is making a little bit of noise, but these are high RPM, ASIC fans. I don't know what the correct term for them is, but these things get super, super loud once they ramp up. Now, I have it set at a minimum of 30%, but I imagine with it running so cold, I could probably let the minimum fan speed go down even more, and I wouldn't have any issue, like noise-wise, even at this level, with this being like in my kid's closet or something. So that is interesting. I might tweak and play with and see at what kind of level I can keep not only one of these devices cool, but also get a better hash rate to wattage ratio. Because even though it's only at what 350 watts, 250 mega hash is just not a great efficiency. I mean, technically an L3++ is not great efficiency anyway, but we want to try to maximize the device's efficiency for the situation. So that might be a future video, L3++, home edition or home tuning. Just that way I can get them running nice and good inside. But anyway, guys, thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it. I got a lot of work to do over there. I'll see you on the flip side.